Hi guys, I'm doing another violin tutorial. So the song I'm going to be playing is Beyond the Veil, and this one specific part is going to be the drop. And I've got one person commenting on one of my videos to help him do the drop, so that's what I'm going to do. Before I play the drop, I'm going to include 4 measures of like a build-up so that it can create more and more energy before we finally hit the drop. So here we go. Before I can show you guys step by step on how to play the drop, let me just point out a few keys. This song is technically in a 2/2 time. It's almost cut time if you know what that means. But for this video, let's make this slightly easier by making this a 4/4 time. The second thing to keep in mind is that every quarter note is 160 beats per minute. So if you want to try practicing this at the actual tempo, then you can set your metronome at 160. The third thing I want to mention is that this song is in the key of D minor, which only has 1 flat, and that's a B flat. This B flat. Everything else is natural. As you notice in the drop, there's not much 16th notes compared to like Take Flight or like Transcendence or any of that stuff. Intonation is definitely the major key in the song because you have to play the notes in tune, because there's going to be some notes that'll last 6 beats long. Like for example, the very first note, which is the high D, it is a whole note tied to a half note, so that's a total of 6 beats. And then there's just nothing but 8th notes, and then as you notice, there was just that run of 32nd notes just going down. Pretty much nothing to worry about like how fast the song is, you just have to worry about if you're in tune. Also, there's this one part where you're gonna like slide up like 3 different times on different strings. That part I'm going to explain like a little later on how to play that part. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the build-up, the 4 measures of build-up. Alright, so the first note of the build-up is going to be an open E, and then F natural. And by the way, these consist of 8th notes and quarter notes. So the first 2 8th notes, which is the E and F, are going to be slurred down bow. Next 2 8th notes are going to be an E and a C. And then next note is going to be a quarter note G. Up bow is going to be 2 8th notes, which is E and F, and that's the 4th beat of that first measure. So the first measure would sound like. Next measure is going to be a down bow E, and then you go from E to C, and then G, E on the D string, and then 2 quarter notes, which would be a C, which is your 3rd finger on the G string, and then your open G, and that's the second measure. If we were to go back to the beginning, it would sound like. Next measure after that is going to be a E on the D string, and then C. Slurred down bow, by the way, and then the next 2 8th notes slurred up bow is going to be a G on the D string, and then E, and then 2 quarter notes, C, and a D on the A string, and then the last measure of the build-up is going to be an open E, and then F natural, E, C, and then E, F. So if you were to play those 4 measures slowly, it would sound like. If you pay close attention to the 3rd measure, as you've noticed right over there, I kept my 3rd finger down when I'm playing from C to G because it is a perfect 5th and the violin is tuned in perfect 5th. I'm just keeping my 3rd finger down, and I'm just like shifting over like this, just rotating my wrist so that I'm able to hit the note and make it in tune. So if you were to play that 4 measure faster, it would sound like. faster. And then the actual tempo. Those are the 4 measures, and now let's get into the drop. So the note before the drop, which was an F, which is your low one on the E string, I would highly suggest either shifting up to 3rd position, where your 4th finger is going to be on the D. Personally, what I do is I go from F and then shift up to 4th position so that my 3rd finger will be on the D instead of my 4th finger. I guess it really doesn't matter which finger you use for the high D. Just as long as it's most comfortable for you, then that would be perfectly fine. So go from F, which is a bow, and then the start of the drop is a down bow. And this is going to be a whole note tied to a half note, so count 6 beats. And then as you're going down bow, shift back down to F, which is a half note after that 6-beat note. And then go from F to A. And I want you to shift from 1st finger F to 1st finger A. Now you're on 3rd position, so you can get that nice glissando. And then the next set of notes after that is going to be 4 8th notes slurred up bow. And it's going to be A, B flat, G, A. And then the next 2 pairs of 8th notes is going to be an F, E, D, C. The measure after that is going to be a quarter note D, quarter note F, and then shift back up to D, whichever fingering works for you. This time, instead of a whole note tied to a half note, it's going to be a half note tied to a half note in the next measure. So that's going to be a total of 4 beats. And then shift back down to F, which is the last 2 beats of the next measure. And then you're going to go from F to A, 3rd position. That is a dotted quarter note, and then an 8th note, a dotted quarter note, and an 8th note. From A to B flat, A to B flat. Play that again. And then the measure after that is going to be a B flat, A, G, and then the runs of the 32nd note that's going down is just going to be F, E, D, C, B flat, A, G, F. So that's going to be 8 notes total, so let's just sound like this. When I play it, I've missed like a lot of notes, but that's alright because fast notes, your audience will not be able to tell if you actually hit the notes or not. I mean, you're just going down, pretty much no big deal. And then the note after that is going to be a quarter note D. Let me start on the very first measure of the drop, and I think we covered 8 measures so far. Let's do the 4 measures of the build-up, and then we'll get to the drop. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4. As you can see here, I missed a lot of notes, but it doesn't matter because I'm going down. Okay, so the next measure after that is going to be a half note F. And then I'm going to tell what it looks like on my sheet music.
Think of 3 quarter notes, and then above that there's a bracket, and then in the middle of the bracket there's a number 3. It's pretty much like a triplet quarter note. 3 quarter notes that equal 1 half note, even though originally 1 half note equals 2 quarter notes. But this is just a triplet quarter notes.
I'm sorry if it sounds confusing, but that's just what it is. As you notice there, I played a double stop. I played an F, and then an A on the G string at the same time. The note after that is just open D and open G. And then back down to F and A. So the next measure after that is going to be a down bow. A, F, open A. I don't know why I do that. D, A, and then F. And then this is where the crazy slide comes in. Alright guys, before I get into the slide, I'm gonna say like the note names and like what type of note it is, like if it's a quarter note or a half note, there's no half notes, or if it's like an 8th note with an 8 measure rest. So here's the 2 measures, the 2 crazy measures.
Quarter note F, quarter note D, sliding up to an 8th note A, and then 8th rest. and then the last beat of that measure is a quarter note A on the G string, and then it slides up to 8th note D, which is in the next measure. 8th measure rests after that, and then quarter note A, your open A, and shift all the way up to a high F. I'll show you what that is later, and that is an 8th note, and then 8th measure rests after that, and then an 8th note E, 8th note F, slurred up bow.
This is what it would sound like if I played this like a little bit slower. Alright guys, this is what it would sound like if I played this like really slowly. And I'm really sorry if the notes were horribly out of tune. And I'll show you guys exactly what notes you're supposed to aim on for each string as you slide upwards. So first slide is going to be on the D string, and you're going to start from the open D, slide up to the A way up here, and it's going to sound exactly like your third finger A on the E string. The next crazy slide after that is going to start on the A on the G string, and a slide all the way up to this D, which is going to sound like the D on the A string. The next note is going to be an A, open A, slide all the way to an F. This is a really high F, where you have to be on 5th position in order to play that on the E string. If you want to know what 5th position is, start your first finger on the note C, and then D, E, and then the F natural. That's the note that you're trying to aim for on the A string. If you guys figure out where those notes are, where it's located on the fingerboard, then I highly suggest like placing a sticker or anything just to show when you're playing this, like you know exactly where to land your finger on. And then it doesn't have to sound perfect, I guess, because all you're just doing is sliding up. But whenever I heard the soundtrack, those are the notes that I heard. A, D, and that high F. Alright, after those crazy slides, the last beat of those two measures is going to be an E, and then F. Those are 8th notes, by the way. And then the measure after that is going to be F. Shift up to 3rd position A. And those sort of quarter notes, by the way. And then a D, half note, tied to the half note D on the next measure, and then shift back down to F, which is a half note. And then the next measure, you're going to shift from F to A, from 1st to 3rd position. And then it's going to be like the dotted quarter note, and then an 8th note, and a dotted quarter note, and an 8th note. Each of those two pairs slurred. And that's going to be an A to B flat, A to B flat. The measure after that is going to be 2 sets of 4 8th notes, and each of those 4 8th notes are going to be slurred down and then up. So the first set is going to be an A, B flat, A, G, and then F, E, G, C. And then once you hit those measures, you're going to shift up to D, to 3rd position, to get that nice glissando. Using your first finger. You would start your first finger on the B flat, but you're just shifting upward to a D, so you're not really hearing the B flat, you're just hearing that slide. And that is it. Okay guys, so I'm going to play the 4 measure buildup and the 16 measure drop at a slower tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. One, two, three, 4. That was 6 beats, by the way, for the very last note. Alright guys, let's increase the tempo just slightly, a little bit faster. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do this at the original tempo. 160 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last two measures of the 4-measure buildup, there's going to be a crescendo, which means to get louder. Therefore, you're going to increase the intensity before you finally hit the drop. And I suggest start off with the 4 measures of buildup at a forte, and then you're going to hit the drop at a fortissimo, which is a lot louder than a forte. Also guys, the last 2 measures of the drop, you're going to diminuendo down, which means to get quieter. Basically, maybe just go from a fortissimo back down to like a mezzo forte, which is like medium loud. Alright guys, that ends the tutorial, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you guys so much for 92 subscribers. I am 8 away from 100, and I never thought I would get like that far. Like 100 people? 100 people? Also guys, thank you so much for 1,000 views on my take flight tutorial. Like 1,000 views. I never expected to be like that much. That is just incredible guys, and I thank you so much. So I hope you learned a lot from this tutorial, and hopefully I might do some more, and I might be doing more covers. I'm not just doing Lindsey Stirling songs. I enjoy like Pokemon, I enjoy Zelda, Mario, any other sort of gaming soundtracks. I do love classical just a bit, but I don't play it for enjoyment, but there are a few that I do love to play. Also guys, before I completely end the video, if you guys want to ask me any like violin tutorials that you want, please be specific on where exactly you want me to do the section of the song. Like I said in all my previous videos, I don't want to do the tutorial of the whole entire song. First of all, the video would be too long, and it would take too long for me to like export this into my flash drive and then edit and then blah blah blah. It's just quite a hassle. Also, it could violate copyright laws, and it's like I'm teaching you guys a whole song instead of you guys actually buying her sheet music to support her, because you know she was the one who writes these songs. As I'm recording this video, I'm just 8 away from hitting 100 subscribers, and it's thanks to you guys, and thank you guys for your support. Bye.